But if you know me, you know I'm not afraid to say I can do better. I am sorry that my message was in the heat of the moment, because when I initially spoke on the topic, it really came from a place of care. I totally recognize that it may have impacted fans in a way that I did not intend, and I am sorry.
This is the moment that we've been waiting for in women's basketball. It's way bigger than that. This is the moment that we've been waiting for in women's sport.
Women's basketball is booming right now. Packed arenas, soaring TV ratings, and a flood of new supporters. But beneath that success, tension is building. The conflict erupted during an ESPN segment when Wnba glanced at Kelsey Mitchell with a knowing smirk. Many expected Mitchell to brush it off with a laugh and move past it. Instead, she remained composed, looked forward, and responded firmly, with honesty rather than drama.
Maybe I'll start with you, Kels, because Lord Jesus, your team and their fans,
Jesus,
they be getting up in everybody's business.
And in that instant, everything changed. What seemed like casual television chatter became something much deeper, a dividing line between media narratives and on-court reality, between those protecting the old order and those driving change. It wasn't merely a sharp response. It felt like a moment of reckoning. To casual viewers, the ESPN remark may have appeared playful, but Fever fans recognized the underlying message. It wasn't just humor, it was another slight, another sign that Indiana's rise was never fully welcomed. Kelsey Mitchell refused to ignore it. She held her position and voiced what others avoided saying. Caitlin Clark transformed the game.
I think I've seen both sides of it. From one, like being on a team with like Caitlin and knowing that some of the stuff and the wave that she created for like this shift in moments in Indiana period, as far as like the arena where we started.
That single statement shattered the narrative the media had carefully crafted. For 7 difficult seasons, Mitchell remained committed through defeats, disappointment, and even the loss of her father in 2023. Now that attention has finally arrived, she isn't stepping aside for anyone, including ESPN. Mitchell had every opportunity to leave. While other stars pursued championships in places like Las Vegas or Los Angeles, she stayed in Indiana season after season, enduring losses without recognition or fanfare, relying only on perseverance. She competed in near-empty arenas, played through personal grief after losing her father before the 2023 season, and did it all without complaint.
Being on a team with like Caitlin, the big moment is seeing the shift and being a part of it from a standpoint that I know where Indiana was. And so to see the cultivation of it, you just grow to appreciate the process and, you know, the growth in which the game is going.
Now that the Fever are finally gaining momentum, the media wants to portray her as merely a sidekick, as if she hasn't carried the franchise for nearly 10 years. But Mitchell is far more than a supporting player. She has been the foundation of the team all along.
Congratulations, Eastern Conference Player of the Week.
And the fact that she is succeeding now without ever leaving her team or seeking the spotlight is exactly why so many fans support her. Because to them, this goes beyond basketball. It represents loyalty, hardship, and at long last, the reward for enduring both.
Someone on and off the floor, like she's just been a voice that's been there. She's been through this league for 7 years now. Like she knows what to expect. She knows how things are going to go. And I think more than anything, like we are just starting to understand each other much better. Like we could just make eye contact and she knows to go back door. She knows to come to get the ball. Like that just comes with playing with one another. So it's been a lot of fun for me. I mean, she's playing so well right now, just as good as anybody in this league. So I feel very lucky and fortunate to have her by my side.
When Kelsey Mitchell stated that the growth of women's basketball owes much to Caitlin Clark, the entire atmosphere changed. The room seemed to fall silent. Chinese smirk faded, and even the producers likely felt the tension behind the cameras. Because it wasn't merely praise, it was a direct challenge. For months, ESPN and WNBA insiders had promoted the idea that the league's rise could not be credited to one player alone. But Mitchell dismantled that narrative on live television. She didn't need to shout. She simply spoke plainly. And her words landed with more force than any highlight reel. Mitchell wasn't praising Clark out of personal loyalty. She was acknowledging reality, sold-out arenas, record-setting ratings, and millions of new fans. This was not media framing, it was fact. And when Mitchell said it, the balance of power shifted for good.
Kelsey Mitchell on the left, of course, Caitlin Clark on the right, the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year. And boy, what a summer it was, Quinn, with the Fever here at Game.
Caitlin Clark did not seek the spotlight. The spotlight found her. With sold-out arenas, record jersey sales, and a massive Nike deal, she transformed the league almost immediately. Yet rather than universal celebration, her rise made some in the media uneasy. ESPN downplayed it, former players took subtle shots, and critics questioned the hype, largely because Clark was not part of the established system. She arrived and changed expectations overnight. More significantly, she attracted an entirely new audience, from young girls to older viewers who had never followed the WNBA before. Clark's emergence did more than elevate her profile. It highlighted how much untapped attention the league had been missing. On paper, she and Mitchell are different players. Mitchell a proven scorer, Clark a gifted facilitator. But together, they form a dominant pairing. While some may prefer drama, rivalries, and manufactured controversy, Mitchell and Clark deliver something simpler: results. No egos, no distractions, just high-level basketball. And when the media tried to create tension between them,
Mitchell stood by Clark.
When Clark faced struggles, Mitchell elevated her game. When Mitchell took over, Clark made sure she received the recognition. Their partnership refuses to fit the narrative others try to create, and that is exactly what unsettles people. Focus too heavily on Clark, and Mitchell can score 25. Shut down Mitchell, and Clark responds with deep threes that look routine. They are more than a talented duo. They represent a major shift in the league. The WNBA long hoped for this kind of breakthrough. Mainstream attention, packed arenas, and widespread buzz, and Caitlin Clark helped bring it. Yet instead of fully embracing that momentum, some gatekeepers within the league hesitated. Former players turned analysts stressed that the spotlight should not center on one player, and ESPN attempted to spread credit more broadly to preserve long-standing narratives.
Why?
Because they were not the ones who created this moment. And if Clark's rise continues, it highlights an uncomfortable reality. They were unable to generate this level of attention before. Now, some of the same voices that once wanted a superstar are minimizing the one they have, and fans are no longer willing to ignore it.
Mitchell recognized that.
Mitchell recognized what was happening and spoke on it directly, and that honesty carried more weight than any media narrative. She supported Clark when Clark struggled, and Clark returned the respect by spotlighting Mitchell when Mitchell took over games. Their partnership defies the storyline many expected, which is exactly why it draws so much attention. Double-team Clark, and Mitchell can put up 25. Focus on Mitchell, and Clark answers with deep-range shots that seem effortless. Together, they are more than a productive duo. They symbolize a changing era for the league. The WNBA spent years hoping for greater visibility, sold-out arenas, and national buzz, and Caitlin Clark helped deliver that moment. Yet rather than fully embracing it, some gatekeepers began resisting the shift. Analysts and former players argued the attention should not center on one athlete, while ESPN spread the praise more broadly to preserve established narratives. The reason, critics argue, is simple: they were not the architects of this moment. And Clark's continued rise underscores that reality. Some who once wanted a transformative star now seem intent on minimizing the one they have. Fans have noticed, and many are no longer accepting that framing. Mitchell saw it clearly, called it out, and her candor resonated louder than any television segment. Whenever analysts overlook the Fever, the team seems to respond by making an even louder statement on the court. They are doing more than climbing the standings. They are challenging long-held assumptions across the league. The conversation is no longer about whether Clark and Mitchell can lead a successful team. It is whether the WNBA is prepared for the shift they are creating. For supporters of the Fever, the excitement keeps growing, and this story appears to be only getting bigger from here.